Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Sandy Smith, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is Flight Lieutenant Gregory Young. This evening we are honoured to acknowledge His Excellency Prak Sonara, Secretary of State, Ministry of Culture and Fine Arts, Cambodia, and Mr. Hang Nisei, Director, Tuol Sleng Genocide Museum, Cambodia, and the accompanying delegation. As always, we welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the national anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is got by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we'll read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in a war and on operations for more than a century. But first we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Private George James Coleman. George Coleman was born in the Melbourne suburb of Preston on the 3rd of December 1911, the son of William and Mary Coleman. Little of his early life is known. He worked for some time as a farm labourer and served for 18 months in the militia, parading part-time with the 14th Battalion. In December 1935, Coleman married Jessie McGee. The couple would go on to have one surviving child, the daughter named Joyce. George Coleman enlisted in the 2nd Australian Imperial Force on the 19th of June 1940 at Royal Park in Melbourne. He was posted to the newly raised 2nd of 22nd Infantry Battalion, which moved to Trawool in central Victoria for training. In July and August, Private Coleman was admitted to hospital suffering from tonsillitis, but he returned by late September when the 2nd of 22nd began to move to Bougainville in the New South Wales-Victoria border, where the journey on foot before resuming training. The 2nd of the 22nd continued training until leaving for Sydney, ultimately bound for New Britain in mid-April 1941. Here it combined with the local unit of the New Guinea Volunteer Rifles, a coastal defence battery, an anti-aircraft battery, and elements of the 2nd of 10th Field Ambulance and 17th Anti-Tank Battery to form Lark Force. Its role was to protect nearby airfields and the seaplane base at Rabaul, and to provide early warning of Japanese movements through the islands to Australia's north. Despite being ill-equipped, the men spent the following months constructing defences and training for operation in the tropical environment. Japanese bombing of New Britain began in early January 1942, increasing in intensity as the month continued. By the morning of the 22nd of January, 24 Squadron was virtually destroyed and its 3 remaining aircraft were withdrawn. With no use for the airstrips, they were destroyed and Lark Force withdrew from Rabaul, waiting on the western shores of Blanche Bay for the inevitable Japanese landings. These began after midnight. By 9 a.m, communication failures and overwhelming Japanese strength had destroyed the cohesion of the Australian defence. It is estimated that against the original garrison of 1,400, the Japanese landed 17,000 men in the immediate vicinity of Rabaul. Lark Force Commander Colonel John Scanlon ordered a withdrawal on the basis of every man for himself. Unprepared for retreat, chaos ensued and Lark Force disintegrated. Over the following days, groups of men, ranging from company strength to pairs and individuals, sought to escape along New Britain's north and south coasts. Some found small boats, while others were picked up by larger vessels operating from New Guinea. Around 400 members of Lark Force managed to return to Australia, 300 of which were members of the 2nd of the 22nd. About 160 Australians captured by the Japanese while trying to escape were massacred at Toll Plantation, and another 836 were interned as prisoners of war. Posted as missing on the 25th of January 1942, Private George James Coleman was declared presumed dead on the 23rd of January 1942. He was 29 years old. With no known grave, today he is commemorated at the Rabaul Memorial. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my left among more than 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private George James Coleman, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support during the Memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.